for uh, for Hindustan Unilever Limited, initially the shortlisting process started with on basis of resume. So it was open for only mechanical engineering department students. So approximately 100 and 150 students have applied for this, both including the BTechs and dual degree students. So they have shortlisted basing on your technical activities, your profile, your CGPA, and various other parameters. So more or less, people having CGPA greater than 8 got shortlisted. So approximately, they have shortlisted 30 students for the next round, that is group discussion. So in group discussion, there were 3 groups. So each group contained approximately 10 students, and the topic was the group discussion for long for 20 to 30 minutes. The topic was on like it's a real case scenario. So they have given us a problem that currently it's that generally happens in a factory, like production shortage, quality control. This like typical problem that you may face in a factory. So from that, so we have to discuss for more 10 to 15 minutes and come up with a solution. How would you tackle the problem? And there was more or less judging on basing on your communication skills, your involvement with the group, etc. The basic GD parameters that every judge will look upon. And after the GD, there were 9 students who got shortlisted for the next round. That are like there were 2 rounds of interviews. So the first interview was technical interview. So I was the last candidate that got interviewed in the first round. Like they're more or less have seen all the students that they're going to get in the IT Bombay. So like they started with basic mechanical engineering questions. So various topics like they were very good at heat transfer, fluid dynamics, and fluid mechanics, and all this. And so they obviously asked me for my favorite subject, and so I advise you prepare one specific topic on which you are very strong, and because companies generally do ask for your favorite subject. And they some they tried to go to ask me questions on electrical engineering also. Like they asked me like tell me the intricate details about motors, which I'm not very good at. I answered the questions which are like basic details of motors, but when coming to the intricate details, I wasn't good at that. So like specifically, I said that I'm not good at this. Like I advise you, when you're not good at something and when you don't know very much regarding a specific topic, you confront them that you don't know, or else they're gonna grill you very hard on this. These are the general interview tricks that you're supposed to know. And huh, this is more or less and after the interview long for 1 hour, after first 30 to 40 minutes were technical questions, then last 20 minutes were on HR questions. So I didn't expect HR questions in the first round, but they started like, why do you want to join the company? So what do you expect from the role that we're going to give you? Like these questions, and like try to convince them your answer. I would advise you prepare for HR questions based on the company that you want to go in, because if you try to impress them in the HR questions, that will really have a very longing impact, and that would help your chances of getting into the company. So then this is more or less my first interview. Coming to the second interview, it's like one of the supply chains VP. It's a guy has come and taken our interview. It's like very experienced. Probably he's been in the company for 25 to 30 years, and he started with my like CGPA and basic all the things that I've done in the institute. Like he tried to know about me a bit more from my resume and asking a few more questions. Like, and he tried one at certain in one moment in the interview, like he has given me a question that was like more or less a open ending question. So for that I wasn't prepared, and it was very like sort of a trap. You may be knowing about trap questions, right? It's sort of a trap question in which, yeah, if you say the one answer, he will go the other way around, and if you say the another answer, he come the other way around. So like I tried to tackle the question as hard as possible, but eventually I had to give up and I had to accept defeat. These sort of things generally do happen, and these are things that they try to see how you would act in pressure. And it's your if you are unable to come up with a good answer, I would advise you don't uh, get you keep your calm and cool and go for try to answer next questions better, because they're not gonna judge upon these questions, and there will be certain moments where you're gonna have to agree that you don't know things well. So they want to listen this sort of stuff from you, and it is good key you say these things, because they're not gonna judge upon you, but they're gonna see whether you can bend a bit when these sort of situations come. And so, and remaining things, they grilled me upon my CGPA. It was a bit low compared to what they expect. So they asked me why my pointer was low, and why didn't you yeah, my actually my 11th and 11th 12th marks and 10th marks were quite a bit good, and he asked me why my IT CGPA isn't good compared to my 11th 12th marks, and he asked me for reasons, and I tried to explain some in ways possible in order to come out of this situation. And more or less, then general HR questions: why do you want to join the company? This sort of questions are this. It's like second time they asked me this question. I had the same question in the first round, and this they have asked me the similar question in the second round. So I would advise you prepare for this sort of questions, because you're gonna get these sort of questions. And then it ended with a general HR questions, and he gave me some uh, his opinion about the company, his views about his experience in the company, and how what are the challenges that I'm gonna face in the company if I join the company. And this is how the interview ended. The trap question is like he asked me, I said to him that I'm not comfortable in Hindi during the interview. So he told me, okay, I'll ask you a question in Hindi and we'll converse in Hindi itself. So like I felt a bit embarrassing then okay, you had to continue during the interview, right? So he asked me कि तुम कंपनी में एक फैक्ट्री मैनेजर बन गया, तेरा एक वर्कर आके पूछा कि सर मेरे को 1,000 रुपए दो, मेरा बच्चा का तबीयत ठीक नहीं है. So I felt okay. थोड़ा I thought for a while, because this question is like if you say कि you won't give, he's gonna say कि it portrays yourself as a bad guy and you're not kind at heart. If you say yes, so I obviously went for the only like simple option. I said हाँ I'll give. फिर then he asked कि सही है तुम दे देगा. दूसरा दिन आके और एक बंदा आके पूछेगा मेरा बीबी का तबीयत ठीक नहीं है सर 1,000 रुपए दो. So then I understood that this is a trap question. So once I said yes, the good thing, like important thing of trap question is you should stick with what you're saying. Like you shouldn't change your answers frequently. It conveys ki you're not you're fixed upon things. So you should unless until it's a very dire, very difficult situation, you should change your answers, or else you have to stick with the same answer that you've been saying from the beginning. So मैं बोला हाँ. फिर वो पूछा तो रोज एक एक बंदा आएगा और कंपनी में फैक्ट्री में 400 लोग हैं, तो एक एक बंदा को 1,000 रुपए देते रहेगा तो तेरा क्या हाल होगा. सो फिर आई ट्राई टू गो विथ ऑल वेज पॉसिबल. आई ट्राइड विथ की कंपनी के पास कुछ फंड होगा उनके पास जाने को बोलूंगा. सो आई ट्राई टू come out of this trap in all ways possible, but he's trying to hit me hard with some other question for the answer that I've given. So after a few attempts, I eventually gave up. Then eventually we understood that he got what he wanted from me, and he changed the next question. So you have to expect this sort of questions from the interview, and keep your cool and calm, because these are the questions that they are not gonna really judge upon. I already mentioned about some of the tricks during my course of the interview. So the main tips, like coming first, you should try to maintain a good CGPA, because good companies always look at people who have good CGPA. Even though I agree that CGPAs may not be at times the proper criteria, but it's better to always have a good pointer. Then prepare. Suppose you are from a mechanical student or no matter what your branch is, prepare on your courses. Like go through your courses, go through your specific works that you have done in the institute, your projects, your technical activities, because they're gonna always. It's better to know about your resume and your branch or your major that you have been studying, because they're gonna ask about technical stuff. And it's final. You have to prepare for HR questions. Like There is a 64 HR questions that uh, are openly available online. I would better suggest you prepare answers for 20 to 25 questions, because through that you'll eventually get an idea how to answer an HR question, because more or less these days companies are concentrating on HR interviews rather than technical interviews, because in my case, uh, my first interview was half technical and half HR, and my second interview was completely HR. So they are not concerned about technical. Once they see that students are competent in to a certain extent, they're trying to consider on the HR questions student how we are answering in questions and pressure, like these sort of things that you should prepare. And it's better to, I seriously advise you to go upon HR questions before going to interviews.